Alpari-forex.com and experience dependability and innovation in online forex trading.
Welcome back. We're still talking currencies, and Michael is still here, and he was about to give me a typical scenario of when, because I was talking about, people stalking the market 24 hours a day. Now, a typical scenario: a trader wakes up in the morning, perhaps between 6 and 7. So, how can he plan his trading day?
Okay, let's separate the traders into, let's say, two categories. We have a trader who trades round the clock. We have a trader who has a job, who has another job that he does. For a trader who trades round the clock, he wakes up in the morning, he analyzes the market. If there's an opportunity, he jumps in there, and then he could maybe go take his shower or take his bath, or or cook his food, or whatever that routine he has. But he doesn't have to sit down there watching, because the system can be in the sitting room or in the dining room, or sorry, in his bedroom, and he goes to another room to do other things. He doesn't have to be watching the market. For a trader who has maybe a job to go to, he analyzes the market that day, he places his trade, he might not even have the time to check the market again until evening. And if you check both of them, you could actually be making the same kind of profit monthly. Basically, because you put a stop loss, you put a take profit. At the end of the day, the market will have closed all the trades you opened if the price has gotten to those points you're supposed to get to before that time period when you came back.
Quickly remind us again, what's a stop loss? A
stop loss means you open a particular trade, and you put, let's say, certain points, that if the price should go against me a certain number of points, I want to close out. It's like when you're trading shares, for instance. You're trading shares, let's say you bought a share at 60 naira. You can put a 10 naira stop loss on your shares. If you call your broker and told him, excuse me, if the shares should fall to 15 naira, sell it for me. That's a stop loss. You want to stop. You don't want to lose more than 10 naira. You don't want
more than 10 naira loss, okay.
Yeah, in the same way you can put a take profit. I want to gain like 20 naira on this trade, on this share.
If it gets to 20
naira, so sell it for me. But instead of calling a human being to do that, you set your computer to do that for you automatically. So when price gets to those points, you don't have to be there. Automatically it happens for you when you're there. So those are the reasons why some people have this mindset that if you want to trade, that's why some people, especially people who have jobs, feel this Forex thing requires a 24-hour attention thing. It's like a baby. You need to be there to rock the market all the time. And the truth of it is that whether you're there or not, the market is moving, so you don't have to be there. You can have a full-time job. No matter how busy your schedule is, you can still actually trade your own personal funds,
Okay, interesting. Now, let's look at another myth. One has to use a very complex strategy. I don't know if we have actually talked about that to be successful in the Forex market. I do know that in the course of over the last couple of months, we have talked about quite a number of graphs, technical analysis of some very complicated looking analysis.
Those things we were talking here were not complicated, they were simple.
Well, they didn't be complex. Let's be honest. But okay, talking about complex strategy, is that true?
Now, so that's what we call analysis paralysis.
Analysis
paralysis. And
that's
the part where we find to it. Some people believe it's like if you look at an aeroplane, even though what it takes for an aeroplane to fly, it's complex, But if you check the dynamics of the flight itself, it's not really complex. It's getting the plane to do that dynamics that's complex. But the flight itself, a bird does it.
Okay, the general concept.
The concept, you understand? In the same way when you're trading, there are people who want to create a very complex system. It's like, they want to second guess everything. So they keep analyzing and analyzing. And even when the opportunity comes, they cannot even place a trade because they are still analyzing and analyzing. So it becomes analysis paralysis. Because it analyzes to a point that it becomes paralyzed. So it keeps second guessing and second guessing. So that's what we're talking about. Some people believe that you need to create a very complex system, maybe 10 moving averages. You have to put your Fibonacci there. You have to put, several things. You have to look at news. They keep analyzing like that. And the truth of the matter is that some of the most successful traders are those that use some of the simplest systems. You have traders who use maybe Fibonacci alone or candlesticks alone, and they do very well. So you don't have to create a complex system, so to say, for you to actually have a strategy that consistently predicts what markets want to do,
Perhaps I guess that would be be the plague of some currency traders who have a very low tolerance for risk.
Yeah, tolerance for risk, but at the same time, so many times when you start trading FX, you start with maybe simple strategies. Even though simple strategies you understand them properly. So maybe you place some trades and you lost. What happens to you is that you feel, oh, my strategy is not good, so I need to make it more complex. So you go get more tools, And maybe when you use those tools again, you lose. It's like, my strategy is not so good. I need to get more tools. So the thing keep getting more complicated and complicated.
Okay, so let's say I'm such a trader. How would you disabuse my mind? How would you
Now,
get me back
most
on
of the
track,
time, when you see such traders, the major problem is that they don't understand the simplicity
or the fundamentals
of of the tools they are using. Because so many times you have 2 or 3 tools on your chart and they are doing the same thing. 4 tools on your chart, they're doing the same thing. And because you have several of them, they might be maybe one is telling you buy, one is telling you sell, one is telling you, and it gets complicated. You know, so many times most of what works in the currencies market are very simple tools. You know, for instance, I do a lot of automated trading. One of the tools that I use to determine the trend is moving average. I've used several complicated indicators and they don't get you anywhere. So some of the simple things
for you
that people overlook. For me, but at the same time, eventually you discover that when you progress in your career, you begin to leave out a lot of those complex things. And the simple things are the things that really work for you. You know, so I'm saying that currency trading doesn't have to be complicated before you can become profitable, because the simple things are most of the things that work most of the time. The most important thing is understanding those fundamentals. And for instance, money management. You know, as simple as money management is like the lifeline of currency trading. Some of them don't pay attention to it. They keep paying attention to that complex stuff, you know, which many times gives them paralysis in analysis, you know.
So did you have traders come into a party, walking into your offices and telling you that, okay, I don't know what I'm doing at this point anymore. I ought to be making profit. I've been in this business for 3 years, but I'm just stuck. Most
of the time when you meet them, you know, because we have forums in our office where people come in and when some people open their chart is like a river. You know something when you see a river, everything is busy. You can't see the bottom of the river, because you can't even see the charts. You can't see the price
because
itself.
You have just too many things
you have
going
a
on
lot
at the
of
same
tools, everything complex, and it keeps telling you when I see this, when I see that, when I see that, do this, when I see that, and it becomes complex. And most of the time when you see such traders, all they have is that chart. They don't really have the profits to show for it.
So what would you do to that trade? Okay, just get rid of this.
Get rid of all those complex things and, settle down, learn the basics, the real basics, and you can become consistently profitable.
What's the level of occurrence of that? How often do you get people like that, or it just happens? It's not
it
like
happens a lot of times at that initial
issue.
career stage when you're still growing up, because you meet some people who tell you have to get it complex. But basically, we've discovered that simplicity is actually the secret.
Is it part of your training when
sure.
for the basic, especially the basic courses?
Basic courses, yeah, because that's what we teach you those fundamental indicators. For instance, we're at Ibadan last 2 weeks. We had a 1-week training for people in Ibadan, and a client called me last week. He was like, these guys have been trading, but they decided to come for our training. He called me and he was like, wow, from the things I learned in your training, I've been training this week, and if you come for our training, we don't teach you complex stuff. We teach you simple things, but they are fundamental, which we have learned over time from experience that actually works in the market. And you see that people, their performance should improve. So many times when you meet some of our core technical guys who teach you how to trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now let's move on. Having an advanced degree in perhaps economics or something, or some business degree. I know that I don't laugh. That at some point should help, shouldn't it?
Sure. Having a degree or having a doctorate in economics can help you majorly in fundamentals. And when you do economics, you understand what's moving the world.
Yeah,
you understand how money moves.
Trends or
you understand some of those like foundational information that when you see a news, for instance, you can tell how the dollar is going to respond. So you can actually be of great help, in trading. But the terrible thing about it is that that's not only what goes into becoming a successful trader. You have several other factors which they will never teach you in economic school. And that's why you can get somebody off the street who doesn't know what economy is, cannot define what economy is, doesn't know some of those things they're teaching. And yet, he's a very successful trader.
Okay.
Why? Because there are several factors. So just reading economics is just a part of it. That alone, will not shoot you up there as the most successful trader in the currencies market.
Okay, now, Michael, we need to move quickly. Now, finally, let's take a global outlook for the rest of the week. We're at midweek, Wednesday. We know what's driving the markets. We know what investor sentiments are. Where do we see what currency pairs or what currency can investors or traders look out for the rest of the week?
Well, basically, dollar is weak right now.
And will it continue to weaken? Are you
saying this I took some time to look at the fundamental news across some of the major websites where they do core analysis on what market's supposed to do, and the general sentiment is that there's going to be general weakness in the greenback in the dollars.
So I don't see anybody. I can put my money in.
I don't see anybody.
So where should I put my money?
Where should you put the money? I mean, it's not like you're putting your money in other currencies, but I don't see people, buying the dollar right now.
Okay.
You should actually, not going for any trade when you're buying the dollar right now.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael. Very insightful there, very educative. I've been talking to Michael Akinwale. He's a currencies analyst from Alpari, and we have been talking about some of the myths at the currencies markets. And of course, he has debunked many of them, or all of them, and giving you, talked about just the kind of rules that one can employ to be a successful trader and, of course, maximize gains at the currencies market. We'll take another quick break now, and we'll be back.
There's a new way to now invest that allows you to diversify your portfolio.
It's Forex, the global market for foreign currency trading. A market in which the world's leading currencies are traded 24 hours a day and 5 days a week.
Now, to take your Forex trading strategy beyond borders, Alpari is the platform of choice,
in which you can trade Forex with professional guidance until you become a seasoned trader.
Alpari also provides free training seminars for both beginning and seasoned Forex traders 4 times a week, explaining complicated things in a simple way to make Forex trading comprehensible to everyone.
Call us today on 01-821-8274 or 080-3457-3593 or email us at nigeria@alpari.org or visit www.alpari-forex.com and experience dependability and innovation